Call this meeting to order, Wednesday, August 20th of 2025. Approval for the board meeting minutes of August 6th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Vote.
Are you in favor?
Oh,
Everyone in favor. Approval of payment of claims.
I'll make a motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Vote. All in agreement. Next regular meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 3rd at 4 o'clock in this location. Any public comment?
No one here in public.
Old business.
No.
New business. Item A, approval of the Peru Sewage Works SRF disbursement request number 48 to Lockmuller.
I'll make a motion that we accept attachment 6A.
Vote. All in agreement? Approved. Item B, approval for the sewer or the SRF disbursement request number 49 to Thiaman Construction.
Make a motion, we approve attachment 6B.
I'll second the motion.
Vote.
Oh,
Everybody agrees. Item C, approval of 2025-69 structure replacement.
I'll make a motion to accept attachment 6C.
Second the motion.
Any questions?
Do you guys have any
Yeah.
questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's just 26 poles is all we're doing for that amount of money?
Yeah.
That's $7,000 a pole?
Quite
That's what I figured.
So, I think that probably the biggest question is if the difference
Spread.
the highest bid from Ellie Meyer or Gaylor was $727,000. P&G was $182,000. So that's what stuck out to us. Like, hold on a second. Now we were required to highly consider the lowest bid, but we're not required to take it if we have reasons otherwise. Mike, you want to go the people you talked to talk a little bit about that?
First person I spoke with was a representative here from P&G. They were one of the three companies that actually sent someone to the opening. And the first one is to make sure that they hadn't broken it into two pieces that I was missing somewhere, and they understood what the full scope of the project was. And he said yes. He quoted back to me the number of poles. So as part of their bid submittal, they include references from other companies they've done work for, and I reached out to probably 5 different companies that they worked for, and they all had basically the same thing to say, that they did the work the way they're supposed to, but then bring it back. And, to me, that's a good enough mark for a customer, for a contractor, that the company's willing to bring them back to work for them again. So his thing was they're from California, or they're from Florida, and they do a lot of work on the coasts. So the companies I spoke with were a representative from PG&E in California, someone from PSE&G in Long Island, Keys Electric. So they're trying to move inward and work with smaller companies, and that's I guess that's one way to do it, is to be hundreds of thousands of dollars cheaper than anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is kind of a test for us with them. And if they do well, great. And we'll use them again. Like as Mike stated, if we can get more material and stay under that $650,000 budget cost, then we'll give them the rest of the work and do more.
Did we budget $650 for 26 poles?
Yes,
So we anticipated it being.
in the $400,000-$500,000 range with a little bit of yeah.
So the high numbers aren't the ones that surprise you, it's the low number.
Yeah. Gaylor's always high. We've used Ellie Meyer quite a few times, J&J quite a few times, so they were anticipating that it would be in the $500,000
So
range.
could we use the balance of what we budgeted and buy a bunch more poles and put them on the ground somewhere?
That's what Mike's looking at
Attempting
right now.
to, it doesn't look promising though.
Oh, really?
We ordered last year, and some of the material did not even, it still didn't show up until this year, so there's still pretty long lead times on some of the insulators and things that we need. But I'll call around to some local companies and see if they've got stuff laying around. Because I would like to get, if we can get the material, we can get the rest of the poles replaced all the way to sub 1 and be done with that stretch. But
So the company that bid it, that we like their bid, P&G, they couldn't just say, you bid 26, but if you want 26 more, we'll sell them to you for that price.
contractors typically don't stock inventory. They rely on the power company to just give them the material they're going to use, and we're basically only paying for labor. And that's all they supply.
So we're gonna supply the poles and they're.
We bought the poles last year under this project number,
Yeah.
anticipating
So
doing
finding
more.
more poles at this point would be hard, is what you're saying.
Poles and insulators and all the
Okay.
ancillary stuff that goes with it.
And this isn't this is the large poles. These are the taller poles, the 69 kV poles, the loop poles. So they're not just standard poles and hardware that we
Right.
use.
Where's this structure located?
You mean
The
where the
structure.
poles are?
Yeah, the 69 kV structure.
It's the loop
replacement.
all the way around. It's the large loop all the way around the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's just what I wanted to know.
We kind of changed, if you remember, when we were doing the capital project list. We kind of changed. We were just doing like 9 or 10 poles because that's all we could really afford every year. And Mike thought that we would get more traction and better deals if we bought the poles one year and then the next year we get them. And if this holds out, yeah, that theory is going to work well. So, so yeah, we asked for approval for P&G Power Company for $182,000 for this.
Take a vote on approving or awarding the bid to P&G. All in favor? Item D, approval of the pole testing for the Duke new Waverly site. Is that it?
It's just a
Attachment 16,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reduced research.
Miranda. Make a motion to accept attachment 16 for the Miranda of the pole testing.
I'll second the motion.
Any questions?
So our recommendation is Best Electric for $36,000.
Want to vote?
Yep.
Everyone's in favor? Pass. Item E, approval of the fourth quarter electric tracker adjustment.
Make a motion to approve attachment 60.
Second the motion.
So this is an increase of 0.001160 per kilowatt hour. This still puts our rate under our base rate. So we're still in the negative as far as overall cost goes. And our comparative rates are up on the board there. We're still at our effective rate for 1,000 kilowatts is still it's the fourth quarter tracker rate. It's a PDF. I didn't change it after I put it up there. Alice told me I messed up, so it's the fourth quarter tracker rate. But is 12.9 cents per kilowatt hour. And if you look at our comparison, we're still significantly lower than everyone that touches us, plus other than Logansport. The NIPSCO rate is something else, isn't it? 65% higher than us. $200 for the first 1,000 kilowatts for a residential customer. It's crazy. But even if you look at our cost per kilowatt hour, if you take out the customer facilities charge, the customer charge, whatever you want to call it, we're still 11.9 cents, and everyone else is the next closest is 12.6 cents for Miami Cass. So we're still significantly lower per kilowatt hour than 99% of our competitors. and that will be an increase for standard residential customer at 1,000 kilowatts of $1.16. But we're still 3% less than we were January 1st of this year. So we're still 3% less. Our cost, our rates are still less. So a good track record on the energy side.
Take a vote on the fourth quarter tracker. All on approval? Pass. Long-term control plan update.
Thank you. Lockmuir has provided Kern all of the information and files for condemnation, and so he has a trial this week, so he's obviously not here. He's been pretty tied up, but we're meeting with him next week about the next steps. He still feels like, reading through how we have to do this, that we have to give him the property owner another opportunity to respond, which, like I said, we'll discuss that more next week with Dustin. The subsurface utility engineering and potholing for the gas and telecom, that's complete. And we'll get those results sometime soon. We don't have all the data on that yet, but that is complete, so they should be out of town and not potholing for the wastewater stuff. The UVs for the wastewater plant are in service. The new UVs, they're both in service. They have to run them, and
they're doing testing right now and getting their initial burn-in time, but both sets are running, so we're killing all the bacteria
twice. Yes, so even more efficient with the new system. So that's really the latest as far as that goes. So, do you have any questions on the project so far? I can answer.
What about Second Street? You know, that part of the project where they were going to, come in. Where are we at on that?
We're still, we're not quite at 90% engineering on that.
Okay.
So we're still, the property itself, if we have to go down the condemnation path, it's pushed the project out 6 months easily. So we're not looking to close on financing until spring of next year.
This is what I'm talking about on Second Street, where they're going to come down and tear out the street.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
That's all part of that,
Oh.
project. So I'm saying the engineering's not complete yet, because that's complete for Second Street, but as far as timing and time-wise when that's going to happen, we really won't know until we get through the condemnation process.
The only reason I'm asking is because people ask.
Oh yeah,
They're
absolutely.
living on Second Street.
And once we start getting more information and the engineering's done and we know the project's moving forward, we're gonna have a lot more communication with the public on it. It's just, you hate to go out there and say, well, we don't know, and this has been a long process, and it's got a long way to go yet. But no, that's a good question. Keep asking that, because as soon as I have an answer for you, I'll let you know. That's all I have on that.
Any city administration update?
The mayor, I believe he's on vacation this week. He didn't send me anything, so I'll speak on his behalf, I guess. Splash pad, we've got the ribbon cutting next week, but the actual, next Monday at noon, 25th, but the actual grand opening of it is the 30th of August from 11 to 1. The car wash, Dickey's Car Wash on West Main, that's coming along now. That once they got started, it seems like they're moving along pretty fast on it. The convenience store / gas station out there at Lovers Lane and Mexico Road seems to be started back up again and moving pretty fast. So the Oakdale Flats apartments out there at the old railroad dorm should be starting up anytime. And Logan Sports Savings Bank on North Broadway, that's moving along pretty fast as well. So that's all I've got to really share.
No city attorney. Manager's report.
Thank you. Had multiple discussions, our group, Adam Sitka from Westler, with the IFA on the 75% requirement for us having to spend the money for the lead service line financing for us to be eligible to close on the next $5 million. And Wessler and those guys have done a great job by helping them understand, the IFA understand our situation and how we bid the project would have been different had we known that they had let us know that we were eligible for the next round and we were going to make the list on the next round. And so the IFA has waived the 75% stipulation. So now we're in a prime spot to receive the next $5 million. That's great news. So they're moving forward. Speaking of lead service line investigation, they have been up in Parkview Heights. Just so everybody knows, maybe it is. There we go. So it's National Industrial Maintenance Inc. that is up in Parkview Heights and is at Grissom currently doing potholing. Here's their logo for their shirts or whatever. So if you get anybody that calls in or someone asks you who are these people associated with, they're the contractor doing the potholing right now. They've done their initial through up to Parkview Heights. They will be back in Parkview Heights to do more, but they started at Grissom today. Okay. And so we'll get that first initial lump of data soon so we can get with IDEM on that for where the lead service lines are. So that's moving forward. Our mobile home park of note was turned back on last Tuesday. The balance was paid in full. However, the current bill that went out, I believe today, is $24,849.40, and has an October 1st cutoff date. So that's even more than what the last bill was. And supposedly they have a tentative agreement with the purchaser, but a sticking point is the current lien on the property, which is $61,000. So as of September 1st, we will notify the state and give them the 30 days notice, and everyone can if that $24,000 has not been paid by them. Any questions on that? They did pay, and they are back on, have been back on a little over a week now. So that's good. We always talk about safety, and so I wanted to show you a video if I can get it to play. This is from Florida, and I'll pause it a little bit here.
Tonight, an incident that left a Duke Energy contractor dead, 2 others injured, and knocked out power this afternoon to thousands of homes. It happened along Park Boulevard in Seminole, just behind the Suncoast Chrysler dealership. News Channel 8's Jeff Patterson joins us live from there.
Good evening, Stacey. This is the scene behind me where the incident happened earlier this afternoon. I spoke to witnesses who say they heard a very loud explosion. Their power instantly went out.
See the top of that pole?
Wow.
And I talked to one woman who says she heard that explosion, went to the back of her home, and saw a man laying on the ground next to his truck. From Drone 8.
This is the takeaway from this.
Oh my God.
And I'll let Mike explain to you what happened here, and he's kind of looked into it a little further. And we use every one of these instances as training opportunities for us and reality checks for us and for our guys. So, and Lee, please step in here as well. Mike, go ahead. I wanted to just kind of explain what happened.
So it looks like they gutted up distribution on the lower lines, so they covered that up and then tried to thread the needle. There's different angles of this. You can see the taller poles there are the 69 poles, and it looks like it's a double circuit. So there are two sets of 69 lines running parallel with each other. And it looks like they tried to thread that pole up in the middle and then bring it back down and set it back in the hole, and it didn't make it. But, a couple things that stood out to us when we, looking at this, obviously we don't know, we don't have all the information. Nobody will ever probably have all the information. But they set up to work off the front of the truck, which is not typical. And you can see the arcing there, so it doesn't look like the equipment is grounded. The there's a ground stuck in the ground off the passenger side of the truck there, but it's got no arcing, so I think that was added after. But you can kind of, I guess, you can see how the pattern that it traveled in, but it was likely 69,000 volts coming out of that truck. And the sheriff's report said there was 2 guys on the ground. They were trying to get it in the claws there. You can see the claws on the end of the truck that are open. They were trying to get the pole in there, and they're heavy. So if you don't get the pick point just perfect on that thing, it's really a struggle, even on a wood pole, one of our smaller poles, to get that thing stood up in the claws. So I think they got it close, and the operator of the truck tried to close the claws real quick to grab it, because that's something that we've done too. And when that happened, it knocked it into one of those transmission lines. And then I told our lineman, this is relatively easy to see what happened, but to me the interesting part would be the conversation that happened amongst them and with their foreman, and then with the foreman and the GF with Duke Energy on what was supposed to be disposition of those 69 lines, on whether or not they were supposed to be out, or if the crew understood them to be out. But like I said, I don't know, and we'll eventually probably get an OSHA report at some point in time that we'll look for. But I think on the year we're at 57 severe injuries and 22 fatalities for linemen. So I feel like this year we're kind of taking a step back as far as that goes, because as time's gone on, we've started to work safer as a trade, but this has been the year's kind of an anomaly, and we hope it's an anomaly and not a trend. But
yeah, so part of I don't know, Mike was telling me earlier, part of what they had talked about was, well, why do they have the pole trailer still attached to the truck? Why are they working off the back of the truck that way? And you can tell that it went through, and it's all over the ground there as far as what it burned. So there are so many things that we use as tools to talk to our people and discuss, well, first of all, how dangerous it is, which they all know, but use them as tools to make us safer. Like he said, the conversation, why would you, hindsight, obviously, why would you say, as a contractor, sure, I'm going to do this job. You're not going to de-energize any of that, and we're not going to put guts up. We're just going to slide this pole in there. Why as a contractor would you do that and put your people in jeopardy? So why would we ever do that? You know what I mean? So, we use instances like this. I just thought we didn't have a heavy meeting this meeting, just something that you guys know and actually get to see the potential harm that our guys are in all the time. And it's not just electric. Water, they have accidents in water too, not as often, but they're just as severe. So I'm not going to play the whole article. I just wanted you to see how bad that got. And that was next to right next to the substation, I believe. So the amperage it's not going to kick out as quickly, or you know what I mean.
The available fault current is the maximum fault current on the substation. The closer you are to it, the more fault current we have.
And it obviously burned for a while. Just a while meaning less than a second, but still more than hundreds of seconds. So. And then our new billing system goes online on Monday, the 25th of August. We don't expect that to be perfect. So they're still learning the new system, and they've been going side by side with the old system for a while, even the girls up front. But the transition has been extremely difficult. So we're going to do the best we can, and any errors that happen we will fix and be upfront about. But we feel like the new system's going to work for us, and it's going live on Monday. They're a little scared. So am I. But I know they've got it. That's all I have.
We could be ready for an adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.